What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're talking about the benefits of quitting alcohol and why I personally stopped drinking. I haven't been drunk or even really drank anything aside from, having some champagne for a toast for the last, I want to say 4 years. I don't really keep track, but it's been about 4 years since I quit drinking, and I can tell you my life is way better because of it. So I started drinking when I was about 13 years old, when I got into high school. It was really embedded in the culture. It was a good way to meet new friends at parties and fit in, and you kind of felt cool if you had a drink in your hand. And it was something to get excited about, like you were looking forward to doing that rebellious thing. You're not legally even allowed to drink at 13, so it was kind of cool. I used to drink a lot. I would actually pride myself on my ability to throw up from drinking too much and keep drinking. Looking back, that's obviously really stupid if you're throwing up because of too much of anything. That's your body telling you that you've had enough. But that just paints a little bit of a picture of how much I used to enjoy drinking and in copious amounts. But this video is all about why I stopped drinking and the benefits of quitting alcohol. So I'll get right into that. The seed was planted that I should probably stop drinking as soon as I started to drink alone, maybe once, twice a week, on top of the drinking at parties. So I was drinking, anywhere from 2 to 5 times a week. And not just drinking to get buzzed. Maybe one of those times it was just a little bit tipsy, but for the most part it was getting decently drunk. And like I said, the seed was planted that I should probably stop drinking when I started drinking alone. But I didn't really act on that for another few years. That was probably when I was 15 that happened, that I realized, okay, this is probably bad. This isn't most likely not going to end well if I keep this up. But my life at that point was still looking good. I was what you might call a high-functioning alcoholic. I don't know if you classify that as an alcoholic. I mean, if you don't, that's pretty loose standards for being an alcoholic. If you're getting drunk more than a few times a week regularly, it's probably an alcoholic in my books. But anyways, I was very high functioning. I was still getting really good grades. I was still really high functioning. I had a good life going on. I had a couple part-time jobs. I was doing really well in school. I was the captain of my hockey team. I was in the band. I would have to go to band practice after school sometimes. I played saxophone in the wind ensemble for my high school. I took piano lessons and I was excelling at those. So there was nothing really indicative of my life going down the tubes or anything like that you might think of when you think of an alcoholic. So because of that, I didn't really stop drinking. I didn't really think much of it other than in the back of my mind, I knew it probably wasn't good that I was drinking alone. I knew that was a problem. I knew that I was running from something, but I didn't really know what I was running from until a couple years later. And the reason that I learned what it was that I was running from was because I started a meditation practice. A buddy of mine who I grew up partying with and drinking and smoking with got into meditation, and he told me about it, and he sold me on all these great benefits. He's yeah, it'll be great for your focus. You'll feel better just on a natural level. You'll just naturally kind of feel high. You'll feel more present. So how do you do it? And he taught me about meditation, and I looked into meditation on my own, and I started a meditation practice. And when I started a meditation practice, what happened is I had this realization that what I was using alcohol for the most part, was I was running away from the present moment, and more specifically, how I would feel without alcohol in the present moment or without any stimulus. When I was playing hockey, I felt good. When I was playing music, I felt good. But for the most part, other than that, I didn't really feel great. I mean, I wasn't depressed or anything like that, but I didn't feel amazing. So I thought, hey, I know how to have fun. Let's drink some alcohol. But I was depending on an external stimulus to feel good. I was depending on something else. I was running away from the way I felt when there was nothing going on. So you can call that boredom. You can call that existential dread. But really, I like to think of it as I was running away from like the depth of the present moment. And it wasn't until I started meditating and I was doing some guided meditations and I was feeling into the beauty and the depth and the connection that you can have with the present moment, just like intrinsically, that I realized, oh, this feels amazing. I don't need alcohol to feel this good. Like, I kind of feel like I'm on a high right now, the same way that I might feel when I get drunk. So that was really powerful for me to realize, like, you can kind of get high off your own supply, so to speak, just by becoming more aware and more present. You can feel really good. And what that kind of did is naturally I was just less drawn to alcohol, but I was a habit at that point, so I would still drink. But as my meditation practice got deeper, and as I started to become more aware, I became more sensitive to what the alcohol was doing to like my consciousness and even just my body. I was sensitive to the fact that it was really like I could feel that it was a toxin when I would consume it, and my body would have to work to metabolize it in a way that was wasting my energy, and I just wouldn't feel good, and I would become less alert and less aware when I would consume alcohol. And that was something that I kind of already knew, but perhaps I just wasn't as directly conscious of. And when I became directly conscious of that, like once I had this level of awareness, I realized, oh, I don't even really like want to be getting drunk so often. Like, that's not good. I'm feeling like it's knocking off what I'm building up in my meditation. That is awareness and presence. When I would drink alcohol, I would feel less aware and less present. So it felt like I was taking, a step forward with meditation and then a step backwards with the alcohol. So then naturally, I kind of just didn't want to drink anymore. Like, I wasn't drawn to it. So I said, okay, I'm only going to drink like when I go out for a party with some friends, just to, be in that social environment and kind of like have a good time with people and be on like the same wave as everyone else when I'm at a party as my friends and stuff like that. And the next time I went to a party, and I kind of had that realization that, okay, I'm not going to drink anymore unless I go out to a party. And at this point, I had just graduated high school, so parties weren't as common. When I went to university, I wasn't living on campus or anything like that. I would commute, I would drive. It was like a 20-minute drive from my house, or from my parents' house, I should say, when I was still living at home. So I wasn't really into the party scene or anything like that. But then when I did go to a party and I got drunk again, I thought, I really did kind of regret this. Like, I don't feel good. I felt better before I drank, like truly. So I said to myself, okay, next time I go out to a party, I'm just not going to drink. Like, I'm not going to drink anymore. I realized, why the hell do I have this drink in my hands? And it's like my third one or fourth one when I'm not even enjoying consuming the alcohol. Like, number one, it's not good for me. Number two, like, at least if it wasn't good for me, but I enjoyed it, there's a little bit of like a payoff there. Every now and then, even still, like, I'll eat some food that I know isn't good for me, but at least I enjoy the way it tastes. Not only was it not good for me, but I wasn't even enjoying what it did for me or to me. So I said, okay, next time I go out to a party, like, I'm not gonna drink. Like, I don't need this. So that was pretty much why I stopped drinking. And I have more things on that story that I want to share, so I'm gonna come back to that, and the story's gonna go on. But essentially, I stopped drinking because I was able to bring the way that I felt without alcohol to a level high enough where when I would drink, it wouldn't actually carry me up. It would bring me down. I wouldn't feel good. And even when I didn't feel good and I would drink, it felt like I was cheating myself. I had this awareness now that this was not something that was serving me in the long run. And it started to feel like I started to become aware of the fact that it was like a crutch. So that's essentially why I stopped drinking, is that I realized I was using it as an escape. And this is fundamentally why everybody drinks for the most part. And what it took to stop drinking was a meditation practice. Over like 6 months, I went from drinking pretty regularly to not drinking at all. And that was because I became more aware of sensations in my body. I became more aware of my own health and vitality just by like doing body scans and meditation and feeling into myself and being sensitive to my metabolism and the way that I would feel when I consumed certain things such as alcohol. I knew it didn't feel good. And because I was starting to feel so good with nothing, just, you know, that same boredom or existential dread that I was running from before, I faced it and I realized the depth of the present moment is actually so beautiful. Scary. It can be very scary, which is why we tend to run from it, but truly beautiful when you let it in and when you surrender to it. And that's what meditation did for me, and that's fundamentally why I stopped drinking. So to translate that into a general benefit of quitting alcohol that kind of applies to everyone is the reason that you tend to use alcohol is it's a form of escapism. And the question is, what are you escaping from? So in my case, I didn't fully like the condition of my life. Like I never liked going to school, even though I excelled at it. I just didn't really enjoy it, and there was some existential dread that was going on. So that's what I was kind of escaping from. And the fact that I didn't feel great if I wasn't doing anything, so I would just drink. However, this applies to so many people in so many ways, right? Like a lot of people, I mentioned I didn't like school. A lot of people just like fall into the beaten path of cultural norms and they get into a job that they don't like. So they work 8 hours a day and then they come home and they have a couple drinks with dinner to take the edge off. Or maybe they do like their job, but still they don't really know how to handle their stress or their anxiety. So they have a couple drinks with dinner or after dinner to take the edge off. But what that is still a form of escapism. And the benefit to stopping drinking is that you're going to be more motivated to face the things that you're escaping from head on. You won't even really have to cope with the conditions of your life because you can assess the issues that you have that you're coping from and go about fixing them. So that is a huge benefit of quitting alcohol. Now, I know this is easier said than done if you have some deep traumas that you're escaping from, so to speak, or if you're using alcohol to cope because of some deep traumas that you have. In my situation, I wasn't really drinking because I had deep trauma, but fundamentally it's the same sort of thing. So I would recommend meditation to everyone as a way to, alleviate stress, as a way to handle anything you might be escaping from, especially by virtue of the fact that by meditating regularly, you're going to become more aware. So you're going to become more aware of the things in your life that you're actually not happy with. And you already know those things deep down, but maybe you're good at hiding that from yourself. When you stop drinking, it's going to be a lot harder to hide from yourself the things in your life that you're not happy with. And when you meditate, it's going to become very apparent the things in your life that you're not happy with, just by virtue of the fact that you're going to be more present and more aware. So that is a great way to start facing the things that you're escaping from head on and actually solving them rather than escaping from them. Now, I want to go back to my story a little bit, where I left off, to introduce the other benefits to quitting alcohol. So when I started going to, actually I remember it was the first time I went to a party with this mindset, okay, I don't need a drink. Last time I went, I drank, I regretted it. I don't like drinking anymore, wholeheartedly. So I'm just going to go to this party and I'm not going to drink. And when I went, it didn't take long for me to realize alcohol is such a central theme in these parties that I go to. And that didn't really sit so well with me because I thought, wow, it's something that I don't value anymore. And it's kind of the backbone of the socialization and the bonding and the connection that goes on at these parties. And I realized that because when I wasn't drinking, the amount of times people come ask you to have a shot with them, or they come up to you and say oh man, I'm so drunk right now. Are you drunk? It became very apparent when the answer was no. And I thought to myself, okay, well, I can't really connect with people that way anymore. So how else do I enjoy myself at this party? I don't know. I felt kind of awkward. I felt like I was I wasn't really like fitting in, and not like, oh, I don't fit in, like no one likes me, but like picture every person at the party is like a piece of the puzzle. Like I was a different piece. Like I felt like I didn't like belong to that puzzle. And I said, okay, how else can I connect with these people here and like still enjoy myself, have a good time? What's another central theme or backbone of this party? I thought, okay, the music and the dancing. So I said, okay, let me go dance. And I went to go dance, and then I quickly realized, oh, when I'm sober, I'm not like so confident to dance. There's like some social anxiety here. I'm worried that people might judge me. So that became apparent in my mind when I went to go dance, and then like I hesitated and I felt uncomfortable. And then when I went to go have conversations with people, it was a lot more subtle, but I realized that same social anxiety was still there. But like even just in having conversations and like talking to new people. And I thought, that's new. I didn't really feel that when I would drink. And that's because alcohol alleviates anxiety. It's a big reason why a lot of people drink. Like I said, it's a form of escapism. That's one of the things that people are escaping from, anxiety, especially in social settings. So this brings me to the next benefit of quitting alcohol, is that you'll have a chance to work on your social anxiety. And this is connected to the point I made before of you can face what you were escaping from. If anxiety is something that you were escaping from with alcohol, when you stop drinking, you're going to have to face that social anxiety. The only way that you can improve your social skills is if you're sober. Because if you're relying on alcohol to have good social skills, then you'll always need alcohol to feel comfortable talking to new people. But like that kind of sucks. What if you're in a job interview? You know, like what if you meet the girl or the guy of your dreams on the street one day when you're sober, but maybe you're going to be too shy to approach them because you feel a little bit socially anxious. So it's really important to be able to have the same level of comfort sober in social settings as you do when you're drunk. So a huge benefit of quitting alcohol is that you're going to get a big chance to work on your social skills by being sober. So that's the second benefit. Now we're going to piggyback onto my story again before I segue that into the third benefit of quitting alcohol. So once I realized I had some social anxiety when I wouldn't drink, it quickly became a goal for me. Like I had this ambition, like I want to get rid of that. I want to feel 100% comfortable in social settings without alcohol. I want to feel confident enough to dance and not care what people think about me, and confident enough to go up and strike a conversation with new people. So the next couple parties I went to, that was my intention, and mission accomplished. A couple parties later, no matter what party I go to, I tend to kind of just dance like I don't care. And if I see somebody that I think is kind of interesting, or I overhear a conversation that I want to be a part of, I have no problem, kind of finding my way into a conversation and just connecting with people socially without any anxiousness. So, like I said, mission accomplished. But then after that, the next party I went to, I didn't really have like a mission anymore, so to speak. Like I realized, the reason that I've been enjoying myself at these parties still is because I've had an objective to go and like work on my social skills. But once I feel like I kind of hit my ceiling there, I didn't really have like an objective or a motive anymore. And I was really just reintroduced to the whole environment of these parties where alcohol was very present. And I realized I didn't really enjoy the environment. Alcohol is something that I no longer value. I really value health and wellness and vitality, and alcohol is kind of the opposite of that. The new people that I was meeting at parties, I didn't really have ways to connect with them. We didn't really share a lot of common interests, so I kind of started just getting bored, and I wasn't really enjoying these parties anymore. And around the same time that I stopped drinking, I also I stopped using cannabis. And now I still use cannabis, but when I stopped drinking, I stopped using weed for about a year. And that was very necessary because cannabis and I had an abusive relationship, which is no longer abusive. Like I said, I still use cannabis, but a lot less than I used to. And it's definitely a healed relationship. It doesn't negatively impact my quality of life like it used to. And I don't use it as a crutch like I was using it and like I used alcohol. But alcohol doesn't have any place in my life anymore. Anyway, all that to say, when I stopped drinking alcohol, I also stopped smoking cannabis. And I realized, like, my group of friends, I didn't really have a lot in common with them other than the fact that we would like to smoke together. We'd like to get high together and get drunk together. And even the people at these parties, I didn't have a lot in common with them other than the fact that, you know, we used to all be getting drunk together, but now I wasn't getting drunk anymore. And I didn't really enjoy the music. I didn't enjoy the environment. It wasn't really my vibe anymore. Two major things happened here. The first thing is I realized I'm not really enjoying the company of my friends. Like, I don't have a lot in common with them now that I don't drink and smoke. And these aren't really like the highest quality people either. They kind of just felt like they were vibing kind of low. And, you know, I thought, okay, maybe I can tell them like, hey, I discovered like meditation and I don't want to drink and smoke anymore. And that's why I stopped. But nobody was really on board. So I thought, okay, I'm not really enjoying anybody's company and I don't want to try to change people. You know, I want to accept people for who they are. I accept all those old friends for who they are, but I just didn't want to be around them anymore. As the saying goes, I still want to see them eat. I just don't want to be eating at the same table. I think that was Tupac who said that. I like that phrase. Anyways, like I said, all the love in the world to those people, but I didn't want to be around them anymore. I didn't enjoy spending time with them. I didn't enjoy the parties. And then a friend of mine, the same friend actually who introduced me to meditation, he came to me and he said, hey man, like I've been going to these parties. I've gone to a couple now and it's really awesome. It's like a whole community of people that they advertise them on like social media as conscious parties. They end the party with like a sound bath, a sound bath meditation with like these crystal bowls, and it's like really nice. It's a really nice way to like close out a party. And everybody there is like vibing really high, and there's no alcohol. I'm meeting so many awesome people who have like so many cool interests. And I thought, wow, that sounds like kind of what I'm looking for. Like I still want to have fun and meet people at parties. I mean, who doesn't? Like human connection is something that we need, but I don't want to go to a bar. Heck, at the time, I wasn't even old enough to go to a bar. I was still like 18 at this point. But I didn't want to go to house parties where everybody's drinking and listening to music that I wasn't even enjoying. So I started going to these parties that my buddy talked about, and I kind of found this like whole new community of people that were awesome. I actually met my partner, who I live with now, at one of these parties, and it's awesome. My whole circle of friends has completely shifted in the last like 4 years since I've stopped drinking. And I thoroughly enjoy spending time with all these new people, and I've learned so much from them, and I get so inspired by them. And that was something that I wasn't finding with my old group of friends. I wasn't really inspired by anybody. So all that to say, the last general benefit to quitting drinking alcohol is that you might be very surprised to learn a lot about yourself and about your group of friends. You might realize that you don't really have a lot in common with those friends. So if you quit drinking, you might be inclined to find some new friends who are going to inspire you and lift you up. And you'll have much healthier relationships with these people instead of just, when you spend time together, you have to be drinking. I'm not saying that I can't be friends with anybody who drinks. A lot of my friends that I did meet at this community and these parties where there's no alcohol, they'll go out and have a drink with other friends sometimes. But what I am saying is you might find a lot higher quality friends who you enjoy more and are inspired by more and have a better relationship with when you have other things in common and other things to build your friendship on than simply consuming a toxic compound. So that's my story, and those are the three main benefits that I learned from quitting alcohol and the reasons why I stopped drinking. The last reason, which I didn't mention yet, it's kind of obvious, this is why I just left it to the end, but overall, you are going to have much more energy and vitality in your body, especially if you drink regularly and you stop. Alcohol does have some withdrawal symptoms, and some of them can even be deadly. So if you are drinking, I'm not a professional in this case scenario here, but if you are an excessive drinker, you might want to seek professional help to quit drinking so you can properly wean yourself off. Anyways, though, what I was saying is you're going to have a lot more energy and vitality. Your overall life expectancy will go up, but your body is going to just function much more efficiently and effectively, so you can have more energy to put time into things that you love and appreciate and enjoy doing. Maybe it's a hobby, maybe it's some career ambitions, whatever it is, more energy is always a better thing. So those are all the benefits that I have to share with you today for quitting alcohol, and that's why I personally stopped drinking. So cheers to having a meditation practice and creating a life that you don't feel the need to escape from. That's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like. Subscribe to my channel for more helpful content like this, and let me know what you thought in the comments down below. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Have a good one.